On the flip side, when you obviously came back and you had all that time back, how did that feel?
Again, it's weird. Like even after hurting my hamstring a few weeks back, the first 2 weeks you just feel guilty. You just feel like you're not doing anything. You should be doing something, and it's trying to figure out. You know, in that injury, it was like from playing bloody paddle above all things. But in that injury window, it's like you've got to prioritize other things. So
Yes.
I kind of had to I made like a manual version of Training Peaks in my like notebook, and I came up with 5 or 6 things that are like, I call them wins, but it could be like spend time with somebody, it could be have a coffee with somebody, it could be get a to-do list done, it could be do your mobility stuff. But each month you've got 5 or 6, and just anytime you do it, put it on. So
Nice.
you're only ever winning, right? There's no negative to it.
Yeah.
So if you can put one thing in each square of that window, you're like, they're all wins, right?
Yeah.
But it's such a reset from like where you're getting up and blasting yourself to like, right, have a coffee today. It's like, it's a complete shift.
It's hard. I was chatting to a client that I have in the UK yesterday, and she's just had some surgery on her feet. And I think she said my mum said it on the podcast that I did with mum. And she said, yeah, I know I can. She's a runner, this lady that I coach. And she said, I'm obviously looking forward to getting out for a walk because that's the first step to running. She said, but just like your mum said on the podcast, there's nothing quite like running and the feeling you get from it. So it's the same thing. You've invested that time, you've gone and had a coffee with someone instead of going riding. Yeah. But there's always this yearning for riding, for the dopamine, for the endorphins we get from the sport. And it could be anything, couldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing is how you adjust after a while. Like it's amazing what time does, because you go that first 2 weeks and you're going insane. And then like maybe by the 5th week, you're getting up at, your usual like 4:30, just because you're in that habit, and you're sitting and having a coffee and you're able to watch TV for an hour and you're just like, this is great. And then you have to go back to training when you start to feel healthy again. And then you're like, oh, I've got to get up and run. And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's just complete switch. But like ultimately you end up like, it's trying to find balance for that particular time or that window, right?
Yeah.
And, for pre-Ironman, it was like get up and blast yourself at 4 a.m. and post-Ironman, it's like get up and have a coffee and just try and get your mobility back and do a bit of strength stuff. And
have you reflected on that and come to sort of any thinkings like when there's a goal, when it has meaning, you're unstoppable?
Yeah, I think I realized that like my strength is just getting stuff done. I like ticking things off a list. So if somebody puts something in Training Peaks, it gets done, right? Like that's just my particular strength. I don't think I'm unstoppable. I just think I'm a bit stubborn.
Right.
I think that was kind of the key. Like after that, I think that's the conclusion I came to, even in the race. It was like, it was always going to get done because I'm just a grumpy old sod that just won't let something not get done, if that makes sense. It's nothing to do, it's nothing special. It's just you're stubborn, right? Like
just don't give up.
Things don't things don't just sit with me. They have to get done and ticked off a list, and that was just another way of doing it. It's much harder going back, and like for me, the injuring myself a couple of weeks ago, it gave me the chance to really reflect on how well I had done at it. And if you had asked me straight after the race, I would have said I did everything I could do. Like I did every single thing to the best of my ability. And then when I really looked at it, I was like, you really didn't. Like, you really didn't. You're like, no, but like little things like, say, I think it was 2 or 3 months out, my heart rate monitor ran out of battery. So I never changed it. I was like, the watch will pick it up on the run, and it's not maybe that important on the bike. And I just, you just kind of put it off. And I'm like, it's actually good, like, data that you could have had for the next time or for the build up or whatever it was. It's like, you could have done that better. It's like, I did my strength stuff. And then you go, well, you did the bare minimum strength stuff that you agreed to at the beginning of the journey. Because part of signing up was obviously with Jess and Tom, they said like, you need to do at least this. I was like, all right, no problem. But in reality, at the end of the day, like by the 35 or 6K mark, my body was giving up. Like there wasn't much more my body could take. And I was like, I wonder if I'd done 2 or 3 more strength sessions a week, would that have changed it? So you're like, at least you know it for the next time if you ever do it. But they're the things that I look back on And it's almost like an honesty pill in a way. It's like, if you're really honest about it, you could have done more. Do you know what I mean?
At what point does that become crippling though, mate? Or does it become like, are you ever going to be satisfied?
Like, I would say I'm satisfied now, but like I think there's a difference between being intrigued and being satisfied. Like, I'll never win an Ironman.
Right.
I'll never ever compete even in an Ironman. I'll never win an age group in an Ironman. But I just wonder, like, what I could improve, and if I improve certain things, does it make me better? And I think I'm quite lucky because it's a beginner's mindset, and I'm not good enough to have, I suppose, the ego of racing against many people. But like, you're only ever racing against yourself.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice, and I think it's good for me as a coach as well, because with people that I teach, like, they're never going to win tournaments. They might never play to a high level, but it's kind of being able to bring what I'm learning as a beginner triathlete into kind of their coaching, right? Like, so how do I get somebody who just wants to be a bit better to see the little ways they can get better, see maybe some of the simple things that they're missing, and even see the value in it? Because I didn't see the value in it, and I'm a coach. So like, why did I not see the value in having my heart rate monitor all the time? Like, it's such a simple thing, but it's actually probably quite important.
Yeah, I'm trying to process it because it's so true, mate. Like, you know, if there's a lot of ifs and buts, right? Because it's like, would I have been better if I had to fix my heart rate monitor? Will we ever know that?
No.
Would I have been better if I had have done 2 strength sessions instead of 1? You'll never know it because you'll never have that moment in time again.
And that's the thing. It's lovely. It's like, do you know what? For the next time, I have something that I can try.
Yes.
And I'll go out and I'll do the heart rate monitor, and I'll add more strength and mobility stuff in. And you know what? If I get worse, it's like, okay, there's at least part of an answer.
Yeah.
Because I'll never be in that time again, right? Like, even I was thinking about it the other day with like experiences and stuff like that. Everybody's lives is constantly changing. So you end up with it. Like, Roth was just the perfect, like, culmination of everything from the people we went with to where it was, the weather. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it couldn't have gone any better at that time. And if I nearly signed up for Roth again this year, and in the end I chose not to, because I was like, it can never compare.
Yeah.
Like, maybe in a few years, but like, I was just like, if you're signing up to get that experience, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
It might be good, it might be better, it might be different, but it's not going to be that. So don't sign up for that.
It has to be something different.
Yes.
The motivation has to be different, right?
Yeah. And you've got to enjoy whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't do it for the sake of doing the same race again. Do it because, like, I've been lucky. All the races I've gone to, I've had brilliant experiences with people. It's not been about just doing the race. Like, whether it was Dubai for my first one here with everybody from Interfight, you go to Greece, we had a lovely group. You go to Roth, we had a great group. Like, it's always been about the people. And I think that's why I'm lucky, is you're never going to really compete. Like, I'm never going to try and make a world championship unless I'm 70 and still as stubborn as I am in doing it. So, like, you're like, you can just go and enjoy the race and try and beat yourself and, you know, beat your splits and things like that. And